I'm Abbie McCarthy, and this is Scruff of the Neck TV, and I'm joined by a very special guest because he is the CEO and founder of Scruff of the Neck, Mark Lippmann. Hello.
Hello.
So, Scruff of the Neck, if anyone's watching and they're like, what's that? What are they all about? Break it down for us. Your elevator pitch starts now.
First of all, I feel a bit cringe sat on my own couch in my own office doing this. It's like the I don't know, the dad who plays the kid up front even though he's rubbish at football. Something like that, like putting myself in the limelight.
Oh, come
on. What is Scruff of the Neck? So the best way to sort of explain this is the elevator pitch, I guess, which I've said a million times on Zoom since coronavirus came in. But yeah, what is Scruff of the Neck? So 11 years ago, I was a student in Manchester, and I ended up living above a pub. Mm-hmm. This really old Gothic pub, like 4 stories it was. It was like a spectacular building. I ended up living above it, bizarrely, for my last year, which was amazing. And I was playing in bands at the time and stuff. And I started working in the pub as well. And eventually, the pub had a nice PA system in there, but nothing else. And I started saying to the owner I'd like to run some gigs in there for him. And he kept saying no. And then the pub wasn't doing very well. So he eventually said, all right, have a go at it on Sunday night. Nothing goes on then. So I was like, great. So, I arranged to run a gig on a Sunday night with the chef at the pub at the time. Just that's how it started. And, we just booked a few bands. And then we had a few microphones and stands from our rehearsal room as a band. And we needed some more equipment to be able to make the show happen. So I asked the owner to buy us some equipment. This is relevant to the story, by the way. So he bought us a 6-channel mixing desk. That's all we needed to run the first gig at a very basic level. It was like 70 quid Behringer thing. It was rubbish. And no offence, Behringer. And anyway, we ran the gig, and I got loads of my mates down and people from uni and stuff, and the bands brought people down, and it was rammed out. It was amazing. It's called Scruff of the Neck. And the bar got drank dry, literally, and he ended up having to go into cash and carry and get beer. So anyway, that went so well. So he said just carry on doing it, and the agreement was that he'd buy us a piece of equipment every time. So the next time he bought us like an SM58 microphone like this for the vocals. So that took that up a level, and the shows kept being really buzzy, and they got a bit of a reputation for being like the cool thing to do on a Sunday. So we did those for a few months. They were amazing, but every other night the pub wasn't. So the pub went under. And by the end of it, we'd accumulated all this equipment, like audio equipment, lighting equipment, and I ended up buying the PA off him because he wanted some cash. And we had this set up so we could go and run gigs anywhere we wanted. So we ended up going and running gigs in like rural towns in and around Manchester for like 16 plus events. And they were like mental carnage. So we put bands on from Manchester, and all the kids would come and just have a big mad night out. And it was like, we made more money than we'd ever seen, like £5 entry or whatever. And they were amazing, but then they were short-lived because kids are kind of idiots and used to smash the place up and stuff. So then we started running concerts in Manchester, and that's when Scruff of the Neck really began, when we started running these shows in the city centre. And I realised very quickly to run the best gigs and sell the most tickets and have the best event, you need the best bands. And to get those bands, you need to do more than just book a venue and put a poster up. So I took an interest in artist development outside of the show. So I'd spend time with the band, like talking about the strategy and what they could do better, and got involved in their artistic side, like doing the music videos. And eventually that led on to us setting up the label. And the way we did that was we recorded a band in a bedroom. Like the guy I was running it with at the time, like recorded this band called the Quangos in his bedroom. One of my friends, Chris Wrench, who helped rig with the install here actually, he did the music video. And we released a single, and then we ran a gig as like the end goal of the project. And it ended up, the single launch sold out, and everyone was singing the words to this song we'd released. So that was where the ethos of Scruff of the Neck began. And you kind of fast forward from then, that was like 2010. You fast forward to now, 11 years. Over that journey, we did some mad things, like ran a festival on a beach in the middle of Manchester, like on sand and everything, when I was 25. But you fast forward now, and what Scruff of the Neck is we're now set up basically to develop artists. That's our business model. Everything gears towards that. The way we're structured, we have a live concert promotions division. So just before COVID, we ran over 500 events, which were gigs, tours, festivals. Mm-hmm. And that included festival stages in America at South by Southwest, the biggest music conference in the world, New Colossus Festival in New York, and then like Why Not Festival, The Great Escape, Tramlines, Hit the North, Dr. Dot, various other amazing tastemaker festivals in the UK, and amongst running shows from 80 cap to 3,500 cap sellout shows up and down the UK. So that's live, Scruff the Neck Live, still a massive part of our business, and will be back. We have hundreds of shows on sale. And we have the record label. So we won an award for Scruff the Neck Records in 2019, the best small label at the AIM Awards.
There it is.
And that sort of kicked on a new era for us, where we moved into focusing on that as our main area of business. And we did a deal with Believe, a major distributor globally, which enabled us to really kick the label on. So actually do all the amazing work we've done, but have a bit more resource to invest in the artists and grow our team internationally. We then have Scruff the Neck Publishing, so we want to look after songwriters and help collect their royalties and work their music on the sync side through both the masters and the songwriting. And we did a deal with Sony ATV recently, so we're now partnered with the world's biggest music publisher and highly engaged with them, developing songwriters and their catalogue. And then the fourth area of the business, after live, records, publishing, is Scruff the Neck Creative. And that's where we've, it's kind of been mainly like orchestrating artists, the visuals for their music, because it's so important to be able to see something and know what it sounds like. That kind of evolved into doing some projects. We executed a project for Distiller TV, a YouTube channel, a tastemaker YouTube channel, a while ago, and it's ultimately led to this, Scruff the Neck TV on Twitch. So we're now producing music TV shows. So that's Scruff the Neck. It's a bit of a mouthful, sorry. But yeah, records, live, publishing, creative, and hopefully much more on the horizon.
Yeah, you're always busy, and that is so much. I mean, I can't believe you do it all, to be honest. But let's talk about artist development first of all. You've worked with so many artists that have, become some of my favourites, and I'm sure so many people watching love these artists as well. So yeah, talk us through some of the people that you've developed right from the beginning to kind of where they are now.
The very first band was the Quangos, and no one will probably know, it was years ago, like 11 years ago, as I say. They were just a band in Manchester. They had like a gritty vocal, sort of Motown 60s influenced sound. It was really cool, but then a bit like modern indie, like it was 4-piece guitar band with vocal harmonies. We did really well with them. They ended up selling out like the Manchester Academy 3 and getting a real reputation in Manchester. So that was the first band we really, really realised we were good at it with. And then I suppose the next one really was Delamere. There's a band from Stoke called Delamere who we put on at the Royal Oak, which is a bit of a legendary venue for us, this little grubby pub in South Manchester where we just put loads of bands through. And Delamere, we ended up managing them, and we went from just being a tiny local band in Stoke to selling out major venues in Manchester. We did an album with them, and we sold out a huge church in Leek, their hometown, which is part of Stoke. And we ended up taking them to Ibiza. Like, we realised that there were these opportunities where someone booked them to play at the Hard Rock Hotel at one of the biggest dance conferences in the world called International Music Summit. And they went to play, because they had electronic influences, an event called Back to Live. So they were just like, some moments we built up a following and sold a lot of tickets nationally. So that was Delamere. Stopped working with Delamere after a while, and that's when I started working with Cassia, Larkins and Glass Caves on management, and all three of those bands are so important to the journey of Scruff of the Neck. Cassia, the tiny band from Macclesfield, we started working with them. They were doing great things alone, but then when we started working with them, I drilled into them the importance of selling tickets, and everything leads into that gig. Everyone's singing the words at that gig from my first ventures early on. And Cassia, just brilliant songwriters, incredible musicians, still maybe the best musicians I've ever worked with. Little geniuses, like little entrepreneurs, in their own, coming up with great ideas and innovating, and we just really worked well with them because of that, because we had similar ethos, wanting to do things differently, and we ended up taking them from together as a team from their first gig in Manchester, where I did a co-headline show and we sold it out, to selling 5,000 tickets across the UK and Europe, playing Manchester Ritz and selling that out, playing the Manchester Cathedral, Scala in London, and all the major festivals, Leeds and Reading, and and they're doing amazingly well now. Top band. Missed them. We don't work with them anymore, unfortunately, but royalty at Scruff of the Neck, Cassia. And then Larkins. So Larkins from Manchester, they've been in doing the Twitch show. They're like they're like our best mates, and we managed them for years. We took them again as a tiny local band in Manchester, which is how we find a lot of our bands, is like just putting them on a gig at the beginning. And realised very soon they had incredible talent and work ethic and were lovely people, so we clicked. And again, went from tiny local band, got them a record deal with Good Soldier Songs, who were one of the best in the UK, independent labels. And they went on to tour America, got a bit damaged by COVID, unfortunately, but they were touring America, writing, producing records with major songwriters over in America. And, we sold out the Albert Hall in Manchester, and, shows up and down the country, built a big following in London. Just did amazing things together, went to Texas together, and they're like, they're still like our babies and our best mates. Because we stopped managing bands is the kind of thing here. So we don't manage Larkins or Cassia anymore, but still love them. We still promote Larkins concerts in Manchester, and they're like our best mates. So, and then there's Glass Caves. So Glass Caves, I found them busking the streets of Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just went and spoke to them. And this was when we were really small. Like I was only a small local promoter. I was on my own one-man band, and we ended up promoting them around the debut album, and their management and them as a band were like the biggest band we'd ever worked with at the time. They really gave me a shot. They let me do the Manchester show, and I put on like the Academy Free, and we really pushed it. And then I started booking for them as a booking agent. So I was promoting them, then I was the booking agent. Then their management, they departed from the management. I started managing them, and then we formed the record label and the publishing company, and we moved them from management into the label and the publishing company. So Glass Caves, a band I just truly believe in, and who a lot of people in the UK love, and in different countries, and they're now still working with us, but on the label and the publishing company. So Larkins, Cassia, Glass Caves, I think, and then the Ratons. A bit after those three, we started working with the Ratons, who are now like a phenomenon in the UK, like absolute word of mouth juggernaut. They and their fans are one. Like they're all Ratons. They're all they call themselves Raton. Raton is a right one in Manchester, but in Yorkshire it's a Raton. So it's it's like this. Or it's not a cult. It's like a group of people that are very are like-minded, and they've jumped on that, and they've really connected with the fans, and they've become, we sold 5,000 tickets for their next headline tour in the middle of the lockdown.
Wow.
And they're signed to the label now, and we're currently coming towards the end of their first EP on the label, and it's doing amazingly well. We're hoping to chart, and they're like massive front runners. We promote the concerts as well, so we're really invested in the Ratings. So they're like the four that we've kind of been working on for years, and then there's others we've signed to the label since last year when we did the deal, which I can talk about in more detail.
Yeah, quite a few new signings actually. So yeah, share them with us. Yeah,
so on the record label now we signed. I'll do it in no particular order.
No favoritism.
Glass Caves, and then there's Lucy Deakin, who's a little bit different to what we're known for working with. We're kind of known as like indie guitar band. Historically, but Lucy Deakin's very much in the pop realm.
Yeah.
Her hero and idol is Miley Cyrus, and but she's at university she was in Manchester, and she still lives here with her producer, so they're signed to the label, and the stuff we're doing there is incredible. It's very early on, but she was picked as in the NME Top 100 this year, and she's they're currently producing the second EP, and we're very excited about it. Next steps there. So Lucy Deakin. We've then got Bilk, so an artist from Chelmsford you're very familiar with.
Yes, they played my gig night before. Love them.
Yeah, big supporter. Kind of like, they're compared to the Streets and the Jam. Like, so it's kind of a punk rock indie thing, but with big hip hop influences on the vocals, and that Streets kind of social narrative, sort of southern vocal. I love him. I fell in love with him when I first heard them, and we just signed them, and we'll be doing an EP first with them. They're awesome, and they're like notorious for having the craziest gigs, which I can't wait to see. And then we've got Somebody's Child, so an artist I was trying to sign for a long time from Dublin, who I'd met at Island Music Week when we met.
Yes, it was, yeah. I remember that. You were buzzing after you'd seen him, yeah. Yeah,
I loved them. I really loved it when I first saw it. I was kind of going just to show my face at a lot of the gigs, like, and hope to see something. I watched that, and I was like, what? Proper old school, like A&R, like going and watching a band in Dublin and falling in love. And I just think he and and Shay, who kind of produced the songs, Keane writes, is a mercurial talent and a genius. A very smart guy in the business sense as well, but an absolutely brilliant songwriter. He's got so much dynamic, and I think he'll be a major influence on music in general over the next 20 years as a songwriter, not just within the Somebody's Child project, but beyond. I love the music. I first heard all the new demos, some of which we released on Scruff of the Neck this year and last year, when in the middle of the first lockdown, when I'd stopped working with Larkins and I was feeling a bit low and a bit like I was going through change with the artists we're known for at Scruff and the artists that we believe in, and I heard those demos while I was on a run, like everyone gets fit in lockdown. And I cried. I genuinely cried at some of them. I'm not normally the kind that does that, but I was like running and I was just like, oh, I found the one. I think this, songwriting wise, unbelievable. And Somebody's Child, so from Dublin. And then we've got Shelter Boy, an artist that we've signed. This is the fruits of all my trips to Berlin that people have seen, not just been going for the beers and the bratwurst, been making meaningful relationships over there. And we signed an artist through a sub-licensed an artist through a German label called Filter, who we're great friends with and worked with on live and stuff, called Shelter Boy from Dresden, who is yet again an amazing songwriting talent. He actually adores Manchester. He's like the biggest Stone Roses fan. He loves Oasis and which is a happy coincidence, but we're now releasing those records in the UK and Ireland, which is really great for me, having German heritage, quarter German, German surname, and we've got a German artist, and that's kind of indicative of where we're going to go with A&R as well. We're going to be focused on the UK in that, finding the next thing in the UK, being synonymous with the British sound, but I also want to be bringing artists from other countries, other continents, and being known as an international music company with international artists.
So many amazing releases, and then 11 years of crazy shows. So pick out a few of your favourites. What ones really stick in your memory?
Oh man, I remember the first Ratings gig that just springs to mind at Night People. That's the first time I'd been to see them in Sheffield, I think, but it's the first Manchester show I've been to. That's like the litmus test, and I remember the energy and like the what you felt, the movement and the connection of the fans to the artists. Like they were all like, it was like if a load of mates put on a gig in a working men's club and you just got hammered or whatever, and everyone was just going mental. And like I ended up crowd surfing, which is like a bit, maybe everyone's like, oh, embarrassing, but like, I just got into it and I was like, I'm going to crowd surf, and like probably a bit pissed or something. And the Ratings at Night People, that was incredible. Felt like a turning point, and then we started managing them straight after that, and the rest is history so far. Larkins at the Albert Hall for work ethic between all the team, and then the moment that we achieved, which we probably were not at that level yet, but we still did it, and we sold the Albert Hall out, and
amazing.
And the band went out, and it was just, and I spoke to them, and they were like, the other day when they were on, and it's still the pinnacle for them, and like it's going to take some beating for all of us. It was like really special. It was like doing that with Larkins, because like our family and our like best mates, and we all worked so hard, and doing that. Manchester's always the measure of our career with Larkins, and we still promote them. And it was a Scruff of the Neck show, and it was a band we managed, and it was my birthday as well. I think it was my 30th or something, and it was just amazing. Electricity in the air. And the label had come up. Like, you had Christian, who ran Good Soldier, who used to run Warner Music UK. He's like infamous in music. He's got a book written about him, and he came up, and I was sat with him and watching the show, and he was like, "This is amazing." And it was like career defining and business defining for us. There's loads more, but there's one that really sticks out to me, which was when I was still running Scruff of the Neck. There was me. I can't remember Matthew Boone, my cousin, who's kind of shooting some of the stuff here as well. Who's been instrumental in working with me on a lot of the growth. He's been in and out. He's gone and done some stuff in between, like, and he's now gone freelance. But at this, I think he might have been involved at this time. But we. The big show that launched Scruff of the Neck was the Slow Readers Club at the Ritz in Manchester. Wow. We'd only ever done up to like 500 tickets for a gig, and I convinced. I remember the band will give me this. I used to really push them and like be like, let's go bigger and bigger and bigger, and a very ambitious band. But I remember saying, let's do the Ritz, and they were a bit like, I don't know, it's a big jump from Gorilla, 3 times capacity. And I was like, look, we'll do it. If we have to, we'll close the balcony and we'll sell to 1,000. It'll still be busy and create hype. And we did it. And through, that band are amazing, and the songs are amazing. They're massive now, and we ended up selling it out like months in advance. And it was just like, that was the moment when I was like, oh my god, we can do this. We can really do this. And Slow Readers Club at the Ritz. It was just, and we live streamed that, on 4 iPhones. It's on YouTube now. If you search the Slow Readers Club at the O2 Ritz or the Ritz, I think it's just the Ritz then. It's there. So they're the 3 gigs. Yeah, the Ratings at night, people, Larkins at the Albert Hall, and the Slow Readers Club at the Ritz.
11 years and hopefully plenty more. Long live Scruff the Neck. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.